Hello, everyone. Welcome to this late night stream. I know that most people have probably already turned into bed, and I understand that. However, with this Carlishia Hood situation, I did want to go live and just discuss more about the situation involving the latest details that have come out. The bystander that recorded what happened that night has actually come forward to provide a detailed, well, some details regarding what happened that night, as well as I wanted to show one YouTuber who goes by ABL, Anthony Brian Logan, has been so fixated on this situation that he has completely ignored that the lies that the media ran with, the mislabeling of Carlishia as a bad mother, saying that she texted her son, he's completely ignoring those details. And he has gone on to make another video. He has actually gone on to make even more tweets, and it's actually deeply disturbing and actually concerning. And so, before I present to you the details that Carlicia and the individual that recorded the video that has now gone viral, before I present to you that interview, I did just want to show you what this individual has been writing. And like I said, it's very concerning considering that a lot of this information has already been debunked. So when we look at his tweets, they started off on the 27th. Like I said, Anthony Brian Logan, he has a YouTube channel that's almost at 1 million views. On the 27th, he tweeted, "What I learned from the Chicago restaurant shooting is that the black community at large does not care about the safety and well-being of black boys. They are used as personal security from mothers instead of being protected and raised as children should." He then went on to tweet, "Get out of the community as soon as you can and do not look back. Save yourself, black man." So he is a part of the manosphere community. At least he seems to be using the rhetoric that they use. And he tweeted that on the 27th. When it was announced that she was released and that video was surfaced, he then went on to tweet on the 27th, "Raise your son to protect mama so he can die at age 13 after trying to protect you while arguing in a Popeye's chicken over the biscuit being too cold. The woman I keep around me don't even like talking in public, let alone arguing. Mama suing trying to get a bag. Same thing if the police deleted him, whack. What happens if the dead guy's family retaliates?" So he's gone on to make a series of tweets, basically blaming her and overlooking the facts of that evening. He then went on the 28th to say, "Carlishia Hood trying to sue after her and her son evaded murder charges is crazy. Not leaving well enough alone is what got her in this situation. She learned nothing from this whole experience." He then went on to say her lawyers are ambulance chasers at best, talking about the charges have been dismissed when that only happens if you go to trial. The charges were simply dropped and they could easily be refiled upon more evidence surfacing. So even after all of the information that comes out has come out, the video, um, even now that we have a witness that filmed the video coming forward to say that she did nothing to antagonize that or bring that situation upon her, you still have people like him that's running with this narrative. And it makes me think of the Cardi B and Tasha K situation, which is, what do you do when YouTubers, including myself, but I do everything I can to present the information as it's presented by actual journalists. What do you do when people continue to run with this narrative outside of suing them? And I think that he is a potential person that she should really look into if he continues to not only spread this lie, but speak about this to his audience. He has done 3 videos, And the last one that he did, he mentioned everything that he mentioned in the tweets. But I went back to his first video and he made a lot of disparaging comments about, he called her son the Terminator. He said that, you know, this is what I typically see mothers in the hood do. You know, he basically defamed her, ignored the situation for itself, which is you have a man beating on a woman. And the fact that he's gone on to make several more lives and create more videos just shows that he's trying to run with this narrative as a way to bulk up his fan base and to get more people to rally against this woman, which is what's happening when you look at the comment section. He has continued to do He has continued to make statements that he should not only come back to retract, but he should actually apologize for. And I'm going to show you what he has said. Let me switch over to the next screen. Wrong screen. Even this title, Chicago mother uses 14-year-old son as human weapon in viral video. If you scroll down to the comments, the first one says, "What a sorry excuse for a mother. We're living in a lack of morals, evil world, pathetic times we're living in." And he hearted that comment. So he is very aware at this point that a lot of these lies have been debunked, but he doesn't care to not only take down the videos, even issue an apology and retract his statements.
If it's me and I'm in the mother's shoes and it's this guy trying to argue with me like, "Hey man, you got it. Don't worry about it, big dog. It's all good." I'm gonna play the soft role because I might have it on me. I'm not trying to use it. I'm trying to de-escalate. "Hey, it's all good, boss. You got it. No, don't even worry about it." I'm not trying to get into no nonsense. And really, for real, if I think there could be some violence going on, I'm going to go ahead and roll out. I'm not even trying to get involved in that kind of nonsense. And to be totally frank, I'm not going to be in the so-called community anyway, but that's a different story. And I digress. The whole point is that I'm going to de-escalate first. The mother did not de-escalate. Why? Because she knows she has this Terminator, Judge Dredd, human weapon in the car. That's why she was texting them like, "Hey, I need you to go ahead and get activated." She has a concealed carry permit. Why didn't she have her gun on her? Why did she have the boy with the gun? It's because she wanted him to do her dirty work. She wanted to use him as a crash test dummy. That's exactly what happened. First, the instruction was, okay, shoot him. I don't like what he's talking about. We getting into an argument. I'm egging it on unnecessarily. Shoot him. So then that happens. And you can see him fumbling with the gun in the video because he didn't really want to use it, but the mom told him to. And then as the threat is over and they're leaving, the mom is telling them, "Hey, shoot him again." So he continues to shoot him until he dies. And then she's like, okay, the victim's girlfriend, okay, let's go ahead and pop her too. Now, luckily, it wasn't a double murder on behalf of the mother, but clearly the mother was in the wrong. Clearly, this was not self-defense. Self-defense is not, you get into an argument, egg it on unnecessarily because you know your boy is in the car and has a gun and will shoot to kill to defend you. That's not self-defense at all. That's taking advantage of your boy. That's, oh, man, like this got me heated because I've seen this a lot. I've seen these single moms use their boys to do stuff like this. It could be anything. It could be something where they got a boyfriend and the boyfriend make them mad. And she'll do things in the house to get into a confrontation, to get into an argument, to push the guy's buttons. And then here come her 16-year-old, 6 foot tall, 250-pound son to kill the boyfriend, beat the boyfriend up unnecessarily. Now, am I saying that the guy who punched her in the face was right? Absolutely not. I have no sympathy for the guy. My sympathy is for this boy whose life is over. His life is over already. He never really had a chance because his mom used him as a weapon. She had her own concealed carry. Where was her gun at? Okay. And if you have a concealed carry and if you are a lawful gun owner, you know not to get into these kind of ridiculous, nonsensical arguments, you know, to de-escalate. That's what you should do. And I'm going to say one more thing as I close. Where's the father at? Who knows? And, you know, I'm seeing this thing on Twitter, this trend. You know, black women talking about black men. You got to mentor our kids. You know what I was told when my dad was still living? He was like, "Look, boy, you want to be a mentor? I suggest you don't do it because the problem is you can mentor these young boys, especially to the best of your ability. But then when they go home, their single moms are going to undo whatever you did." I'm not saying all single moms are bad. Don't get it twisted. What I'm saying is if the boy needs mentorship, and he's living in a single parent household, there's probably not a very stable household. There's probably not any kind of male figures anywhere around. So when you mentoring this boy and he goes home, whatever you did will be undone. It becomes a waste of time. Unless you can adopt the boy and have him under your wing 24/7, you're wasting time trying to do stuff like that. If there was a male in the picture, then the boy would not be the crash test dummy. You see, the mother has control over the boy and can make him do whatever she wants, which is not going to be the right thing. If there was an actual adult male there, the whole thing wouldn't have happened. Like, let's say it's me and I'm with this lady. First of all, we're not going to be in a community anyway. We're not going to be in some ghetto restaurant at that time of the night because I know there's going to be some violence going on. But beyond that, I'm not going to allow her to get into any kind of confrontation. I'm going to de-escalate. So the whole thing doesn't happen. But guess what? Ain't no man there. I could do whatever I want. Can't nobody control me. So I'm going to control my boy, use him as a human weapon because I know he ain't going to tell mama no. So you got this big 6'2", 100-something pound boy with a gun that will use it because his mom told him to. And like I said, you can see in the video, he's fumbling with the gun. He did not want to do that. The mom made him do it. This is crazy. It's not self-defense. The mom should get put up under the penitentiary. Big rocks, little rocks. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And
see, I can't. I can't. I've listened to that statement several times, and every time it riles me up. The fact that he would even go as far to provide his bias assessment of what happened and then make statements like the community, I wouldn't be out in the community. You wouldn't be in that community because you know that the community, sadly, is filled with a lot of criminals. And this is the result of Black women going out and yelling, defund the police. You're not giving thought to the fact that you are as much as a woman as you are Black, and that Black people, particularly Black men, have turned the Black community into a war zone. And because it's a war zone, you as a law-abiding citizen, which is what Carlishia and her son were, now have to look over their backs. You're not able to live your life the way you should be. It's the criminals who should have to go above and beyond to evade being held accountable or to attack versus law-abiding citizens. Sadly, even after all the information that has come forward, this guy is continuing to run with the narrative. Here's the thing. They were falsely arrested based on misleading witness testimony. Somebody lied to the police, including the police did not do their job, because when they looked at the footage from the restaurant, they were supposed to look at the fact that she was being beat. And one of the issues that a lot of these news stations that ran misleading headlines are running into, they wanted to know, well, why wasn't all of the footage released to the public? Why didn't you allow the public to come to that conclusion on their own? Because if we had seen the footage of her being hit repeatedly by Jeremy before that aired, we wouldn't have ran around with the narrative that she put her son up to hit him. Also, the video that leaked showed that she wasn't texting her son. So that is a narrative that he has continued to run with as well. If you go over to his videos, you'll see that he keeps saying texting. He also called her son the Terminator. He said that she put him in the middle of it. And in my live video, a couple videos back, if not the last one, I said that the reason why that boy came in there is because he heard his mother arguing with Jeremy. The witness that has now come forward to say she wasn't texting, and she told her son to go back to the car, but her son ended up coming into the restaurant. He already had the you know what in his pocket, and he had it in his pocket because he heard his mother arguing. And the reason why you see her son fumble with the you know what is that he didn't come in there with the intentions to immediately use that you know what, but he had ended up having to use it after he saw that man repeatedly hit his mother. I'm so happy that this witness is coming forward to say what happened. From my understanding of watching this video is that Fox News is actually going to have her on their show, and she's going to go over some of the details. However, I wanted you guys to see the interview that she did with this guy Jebediah Brown. And I like I fast forwarded to where they actually talk. The first 7 minutes are him setting up the call and it not working out. So let's see what.
So I'm back. So here we go. Here you all. This is Rahima Lewis. Rahima, I didn't even think about the echo. Oh, the echo on yours? So you probably have to cut that one down for me a little bit, Rahima. You'll probably have to cut that Facebook thing down and just talk to me through the phone.
Yeah, cut that down.
And so here we go. She is, oh my God, look at the comments. You're beautiful. Nobody disputing them facts. She's gorgeous. So can you kind of sort of walk us through that night?
Okay. And I was on my way home with my friends. They wanted to stop. My friend and my cousin, they wanted to stop and get something to eat. So we stopped at the Maxwell on 116th House. When we got out the car and we was proceeding into the restaurant, the young lady and the man was already arguing when I got there. So they was arguing when I got there. She was explaining to him something about the line. He kept on trying to get her to shut up. Like, if you don't shut up, I'm hit you on my grandma. Kept on being, aggressive with her. She was never aggressive. Let me get that part straight. Always stay calm and maintain herself. She never got aggressive. So he kept on being, telling her to be quiet, shut up. So she was, I guess her son had walked in at that point. And that's when you guys can hear the video, her telling her son to go to the car. And once she said go to the car, y'all hear him say, go to the car, say one motherfucking thing, I'll hit you in your mouth with my grandma. And that's when he hit her started hitting her. And everybody pushed me out the door and my phone fell on the ground where I fell too in my phone. So.
Wait. Now, I didn't even know that. So you're saying that the people who panicked pushed you down?
Yeah, they pushed me down. So I broke my phone. So I can't use my phone unless I got my what you call that?
Your speakerphone?
My
Stylus.
Yeah, my stylus.
Oh, you do got Android. You fancy.
Huh?
Yeah, that's Android.
Yeah, Galaxy lady. Samsung.
So you did not, so basically you was in there trying to get food. You saw the sister there. What made you record?
I don't know. And I usually don't record. He was so aggressive. He was like, I don't think he was himself that night. I really don't. I don't know if he was drinking that night. I don't know what was going on. But I can tell you he wasn't himself. Now, usually, I'm telling me, I would rather say something like, could you calm down, leave it alone? But looking at him, it was nothing I could do with that man. Because he was so angry. I believe if I would have said something, he probably would have attacked me too. So at that point, all I can do was pull out my phone and record.
So when I talked to you, you talked about having witnessed this, having recorded it, and 6 or 7 days later, you said you watched something on the internet that also motivated you to share. What was that?
All the comments, how they was bashing that black woman, her son, like they was just this, like she just sent her son in the restaurant and said, just shoot a random person. Just like she was this bad mother. And we as black people, we get painted in that light all the time. And as a black woman with black boys, I would not.
And so you said, I gotta share it.
I would do it again because they always tell us to be quiet. Everybody, they got us in so much fear. I don't fear nothing.
I love that.
Nothing.
I love that.
Nothing. Because I would want anybody to do the same act for me if me and my son was in that situation.
That's amazing. But everything you saw as it relates to people saying she told her son to come in there, she was trying to be a man and be combative with him. These are things. No, you didn't see none of this.
No. All the lies where they said told him to shoot him, kept on. No, I never heard that. See, I'm about to tell y'all better stop believing everything this internet tell y'all. Because, baby, I keep telling y'all, fake news. And if you don't believe, you hear it from the horse's mouth. fake news.
I love it. Is there anything else that you would say or would want to say?
No, that as black people, we need to stick more together.
Yep.
Yes.
Because Cal is not going to get us nowhere. There's too many of our black kids out here getting killed. It's too many. It's like we at war with ourselves. We at war for what? We all out here trying to survive. But we hate each other so much. And I don't understand that. And I'm a stick and I'm a ride for man all the time.
That's amazing. I got a couple more questions for you, and then I'm going to switch gears a little bit. When you shared the video, what did you think it was going to be?
What I want, I didn't think what it was. I just wanted justice for that young lady and her son. That's all I was thinking about. And I'm gonna be honest, the person that was on my heart the most was that child.
Yes.
I have sons. I have a son that's locked up right now that I'm trying to get out. Right now, that's going through the same thing in jail. Right now. And I would want somebody to do it for me. I want to touch and hug my son right now.
Wow.
You understand? I'm a mother.
And so what about, and this is the last question, the last two questions. You see people are talking now. No. About the young man, about her son. I'm sorry, I had to think about this. He was portrayed like this kid that just did this. He was like a thug. What did you see with the son? Talk about the son, what you saw.
Oh, when I did my background check and they were telling all the things he have accomplished, how he was just graduated from grammar school on his way to high school. No, I couldn't allow that. That boy ain't even finished living. No, he deserved a chance. Because he a hero, because he helped save his mother's life.
Yes.
Because honestly, looking back on that situation at night, I don't think that young man would have got down and would have stopped. Because he kept on. It just wasn't like a one hit and leave it alone. It was multiple. And he did what any son would do for their mother. That's a man's instinct to protect his mother and his sister. A woman, period.
I heard that the place was packed. Like it was a lot of people.
The place was what?
Was it a lot of other people there that could have possibly intervened?
No. It was the young lady that was arguing. The guy that she was arguing with, it was an older man in back of her. Then it was another older man in back of her. Then it was the young lady I was with. Then it was me.
Jesus.
So that's what. And then it was the girl on the side that I think the young man was with. The one that y'all heard in the video saying he told you to shut up. I think he was with him.
Okay.
So that's a total of 2 men, me, 6 people. Let me know. It wasn't crowded, no. Not
Okay.
at all. Not nobody there that could have got that man off of her. No. Because the 2 men that was in back of her, they was like one had looked like he was about in his 80s. And the man that was behind him wasn't that much younger either. Then you got 3 girls in there.
Yeah. I want you to know the one thing that I love about you is that you never was looking for credit. Even when I called you, you was not looking for credit. But I wanted to tell you on this live, and I'm pretty sure everybody on this live feels the same way. What I told you on the phone, you a hero, a shero. You are a shero.
I got rewarded when God allowed me to help him. That was the biggest award he could have gave me, to allow that mother and that child to walk away and have a second chance.
But do you understand that there's so many people who, even myself, we might have done our little parts, but do you understand that because you did that brave thing, that this family was released? God really did use you for that, right?
I know, because I was trying to get home all that night. I even called my son to try to pick me up when he gonna come. I knew I felt something was going on that night. I knew it. And I wanted to get home bad. I even called my son, he won't come get me. Nobody will come get me. So that's how I ended up there. Because I would have went home. I wouldn't have been in that situation if my son would have picked me up. But he said So that's how I ended up staying, and they picked me up. So I look at it that God wanted me to be there because He knew I was going to do the job that He needed me to do.
This is a question that someone asked me to ask you. What do you think that we as a community can do to heal how we handle each other, how we view each other, heal our situation? What do you think?
I think we need to learn how to deal with our emotions. People don't know how to deal with their emotion, and I can be honest, it's something that I'm working on. I used to be that girl, somebody say something to me, yeah, but people that don't know how to deal with their emotions. And I have, you have to sit back, and ask yourself, why you feel like this way? Why you hurt? What hurts? What making you hurt? And start being a little more kind to us, to our neighbors and stuff. I've been living on this where I live in for years, and this world has became to make us so distant. I mean, we grew up, we all helped each other on the block. We cleaned up together, we cooked together. Like, this generation is just, I don't know. It's so much hate.
Thanks again. I really want you to know that I just adore you. Like, I really do. I really adore you.
Start loving each other, y'all. Start loving each other. If you can't do good for somebody, I'm telling you. If you can't do good, tell somebody on the street, girl, you look good. If you look handsome, you can't get somebody a dog, buy them coffee or something. That's me. That's how you spread love. Because everybody going through something, whether you believe it or not. Everybody going through something. They might not say it or speak up on it, but everybody going through something. Just try to show a little more love, because we show too much hate. Bring love back. That's what I want.
So Rahima, I wish that I could have had you come to my house, but I couldn't get you to come to my house. Hold on. I wish I could have had you come to my house, but you can't come to my house, and that's okay. But I know that you all were able to talk on the phone, but I want to show you somebody really quickly. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Now I gotta.
Hey, don't make me cry. Don't make me cry. Because I've been looking for you. Don't make me cry. What up?
I see y'all. Oh my God.
She gonna make me cry on here, and I've already been looking crazy, balling my face up in tears. Rahima, you can't even imagine how thankful I am for you. You hear me? Me and my son. I really appreciate you. Okay? We could have still been in there fighting this, coming out of 70, 80,000 for attorneys, trying to figure it out. I thank God He used you. She's gone. I know you still hear me. The video gone.
And she on there doing the ugly cry. I'm not gonna put her back on there because Rahima doing the ugly cry. And now the signature just went out right there.
I'm sorry, I'm an emotional person.
No, it's okay, girl. It's okay to cry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to cry. What
I'm glad that I was able to be there for my relationship with my boys is everything. I love it.
It's
And
okay.
they love their mama. They'll do it for me. They'll protect me just like your son do you. And I'm glad he did what he did for his mother.
Well, I'm definitely gonna be calling you because as I said, you are a hero.
Most definitely. Okay, Shiro.
Shiro. I keep saying I'm so sorry. You are a
Burnell
Shiro.
the hero, you the Shiro. I was the victim.
You are Shiro, and I'm gonna call you back because I'm not done with you. I want you to be thanked the right way, okay?
Yeah.
And Carlishia
Take
is.
care of your son. Hug on him. Love on him for me.
Girl, did you see that video? Even though I didn't want it posted, I'm like, goodness. But yes, trust me.
Love on him.
Trust
He's
me.
an amazing son, and I promise you, God ain't done with him. I promise you.
Thank you so
He's an
much.
amazing boy. I seen that myself. I know. See, I still remember God don't understand. But I'm telling you, your son is amazing. He ain't done with him, baby.
Thank you so much. And I'm doing the best that I can raising him. So
Yeah,
only God
keep loving
knows.
him.
And that's why I'm here too. To thank you, of course, for what you did for us. And also to just talk a little bit to the people because I was bashed and everything. So I thank you for having that heart. Like, this ain't her. You know, you done probably looked at the page a little bit and was like, nah, this is not the type of mother that she is, that they creating her to be. And I thank you for that. I was in jail crying my eyes out when I heard it's another video release, going viral. You hold on again, Sylvia.
Oh, girl.
Right.
I stayed down the street and they played this black woman and stuff. Oh, no.
And I think that's Rahima, that's the one part that I really appreciate you for acknowledging. She was never aggressive.
Thank you.
Never aggressive. So, Rahima, I'm gonna. Right. Well, I'm gonna. Rahima, because they can't see you, and I really, really want you to know I appreciate it. I'm gonna be contacting you again. And as a matter of fact, I do know that you'll be on Fox News tomorrow morning, correct? She's gonna also, Rahima is gonna also, she's making herself available fearlessly. She's gonna be on Fox News tomorrow, further sharing her story. And I apologize for that, and we're gonna be in touch, okay?
And please message me because
they don't think they stir. We gotta write our own stir. We gotta let them know our truth. But we'll be all type of, you know.
Please message me back on Facebook. I got all my people tagging your name. So I got something for you as well. So please message me back after all this, okay?
I will.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
So, in this room right now.
Remind me of the moment.
You all, this, I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. First of all, there's a room full of love that I wish that you could see, but you can't see. But in this room is also Camilla, who was one of the individuals who was very instrumental in doing some real work to fight. We got a mother that I just absolutely love, Mama Hood. I got a family here, and I just thank them for coming and visiting me and trusting me with this moment. But here it is, right here on our screen, Carlishia Hood. And I will not ask her to tell the stuff again because she's still traumatized. There's still a lot that it's really hard to, and I don't want to try to keep making her relive the moment. But what I do want her to do, and I asked her to do this, is I just want to know what you went through as it relates to when you were in jail. I just want to know how that affected you.
Oh man. Oh Lord. So I mean, from the beginning, I didn't think that I was even going to be arrested. Of course, I felt that they were going to hold me at least for a few, but for the most part, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying, look.
Okay. For the most part, just the whole experience. I've never been in jail. I've never been, locked up or anything. So just the whole experience, just to have to soak that in, and at the same time be away from my child, knowing that my child was also going through the same thing with me, was a very terrible feeling for me. So, in that moment, the whole time I was just like in like shut down, stress mode. I had a face mask on because I really didn't want to be visible at that time, and you all can't imagine.
But this was traumatizing.
Very traumatizing.
And you were toiling, and I'm only reason why I'm saying this is because one thing I do understand that there are things that are going on in court. We're not going into no details. She's not prepared, ready to do that. I wouldn't force her to do that. But let me say this to y'all. This is why I asked her to come on this live, because number one, I wanted her to hear Rahima. But number two, I wanted y'all to see a little bit of what we've been watching in the background. Y'all allowed the media to give you a narrative, and everybody was tossed with their opinion. When she was free, But do y'all understand that in an overwhelming sense, everybody been telling her, do this, do that, do this, do that, go here, go here. And she's been trying to figure out what's the best thing to do. And then she went on there and she was advised to go on things she did. They filed the paperwork. But what I watched y'all do again is almost re-victimize a woman who is suffering because the village keep on forgetting our role. We have to protect our women and our children. So in emotional turmoil, she done shut down so many times since I've been talking to her, crying and going through all these emotions. I said, you can and tell them how you felt, because I refuse to let y'all make her suffer in silence. Her whole world and her son's world have been turned upside down. So now look at the woman in her face. She said in the jail cell, you said you felt like this is the thing that really, really disturbed me. What as it relates to your child, how did you feel? You can't do it, you can't do it. It's okay, you don't have to.
No, I'm okay.
As it relates to your child, what did you say you felt? How did you feel as it relates to things you were thinking about with your son?
Could you
When you was in jail, when you were arrested, the thoughts about your son, what were those?
I can't even. So the whole time, like I said, I wasn't even thinking about my process at that moment. I was just thinking about my son, because my son is not a bad kid. My son don't hang around, other crowds of kids that's out here, participating in all these negative things, and that could possibly put him in a situation to endure that situation he was in, being locked up. So just the fact that I knew my son, number one, watching him be arrested in front of me, put in handcuffs,
Jesus.
Getting his shoestrings took out of shoes, and how he was being handled during that time, and to be separated from me. I've never been separated from neither one of my kids. And to see us have to go in separate rooms, that was a very terrible situation for me to have to endure. And then just sitting in that room, not knowing if they were trying to come interrogate him without me, even though I knew that they couldn't, but I didn't know, even just going in there asking him, hey, you want some water or whatever. So, but for the most part, just the whole, I couldn't imagine what my son was dealing with, even being in detention.
If I may just do this, because I want, like I said, this is not an easy thing to do, and y'all, this is not my first time doing it, so just pay attention, please. The thing that she said to me that broke my heart is that this woman who's been a victim of this situation said, I don't know. I sit here wondering if I'm gonna ever see my son again and be able to touch and hold her son again. The agony and the fear of that alone. The agony and the fear of that alone, I think is unbearable. But I'm not gonna have you sit on here much longer. And what I'm gonna do for the general public is I'm gonna ask you all to do me a huge favor. It's okay. What I'm gonna ask you all to do for me is a huge favor, and that is just love on this family in this very difficult moment. I've had the honor of meeting your son. He is amazing. You did an amazing job. So I'm not gonna have her sit on here and ask a bunch of questions. I just want y'all to know this is a phenomenal woman. She is a very responsible woman. I'm very, very grateful she came and visited with me today. I'm grateful that her family came and visited with me today. And I'm asking for y'all to do the most important thing right now. Let's protect her and let's love on her in this very, 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 very tough time. Is there anything you want to say?
First of all, of course, yes, to the people. I know the first video went out, and I'm not gonna go into details, but I do appreciate everyone that knew me and didn't know me, and just was kind of fighting for our situation with the little bit of information that you all had. I just truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all. I was looking at some of the comments that was shared and things like that. I just want you all to know that you know, you all are a blessing to us as well. Even just being out here going back and forth with folks. And even then, when you all seen the other video that was shared from Rahima, right? That you know, it gave you some victory, you know. So I'm also thankful that I didn't let you all down. You know, all of the support you all were giving me and saying, yeah, they don't look like, you know, they don't, you know, and I from the bottom of my heart, I'm still shaken up about the whole situation. And it's still a lot for me to take in to try to just, you know, not relive that situation and even just being incarcerated. Yeah, but I did want to get on here and thank the people. And I just was waiting on that right time. So thank you for allowing me to kind of give a starter, guys, because I'm camera shy. I don't really be all on live and things, but for the most part, thank you all. You know, and God bless each and every one of you. And please continue to keep us in your prayers. Yes, shout out
Cassandra Greer. She's so amazing.
There's so many people I've heard that was shout out to Cassandra. And Kim Fox.
Yeah. So let me say this and then we're done. You have. I'm gonna say something. Okay, I'm gonna turn this camera to me for a second. And I didn't need y'all to listen to me. Do you?
Can I get some of that food you cook?
Oh, fine. Let me say this, then I'm gonna get off of here. I'm gonna ask y'all black women to do me a huge favor if you don't do nothing else. Protect this sister at all costs moving forward. And if you all can, listen to me. We gotta make sure that we help them in this transition. So if you are contributing to them, contribute to them through her directly, reach out to her, contribute to her directly. I'm not gonna put their business out there, but I'm gonna tell y'all this is not an easy lift for this family right now.
No, it's not.
This young man he is here, but I'm not putting him on camera because y'all, it just doesn't need to happen. But if y'all had the opportunity and the honor of meeting her son, you will be blown away at the intelligence and the brilliance and the innocence. Y'all will be blown away. So all I'm gonna say, America, we love that Cardi B, that Nicki Minaj is saying what she's saying, but y'all, let's be a huge blessing to them and let's hold them up and undergird them in prayer with real resource, with real support, with real strength. And y'all understand this. Attacking people based off of rhetoric, rumor, and innuendo. Everything that has happened to them, it happened suddenly, and they're doing the best they can with a situation that they did not ask for. So it is up to us as a village to get they back, and it is up to us to protect them at this point. You want to say something? Camilla, I love you. Camilla, very instrumental in this. Cassandra, very instrumental in this. The family, every member of her family understood their assignment and they did their thing. We hope something was said that added value to your life. Make sure that you treat Rahima like the hero she is. Make sure you treat her son like the hero he is. I just have a problem with saying his name. Yeah. And make sure that Carlishia feels your love, your support, and your protection. And let her know that we love her like the black queen that she is. And I'm telling you this on the record. She never did anything to put a child in harm's way. Stop those lies. She never told him.
Never texted him.
She never texted him. She never called him. She never asked him to do anything. She protected her son. She told him to go to the car. And the thing that is crazy is
For a fact, a big fact. And if anybody who truly know me, okay, my kids are my everything. I wouldn't dare have my son. I already knew something was off, but like I said, for the most part, I would never put my kids in a situation like that. Neither one of them.
There was, and I'm just debunking.
I didn't even want my son to witness it. That's why I said go to the car, because he overheard the argument, and that was that.
She was never she never in her tone, and I just want to debunk a couple more lies, and then I'm done with this for the night. And I'm saying this on the record. She never done any of that, and we're done. I hope something was said that added value to your life. You all, Chicago, we love you. In America, sometimes you be tripping. Goodbye. Bye.
So there you have it. She never told him to do the you know what. She never told him to grab it. And I knew that when I saw the video of him coming into the doorway, standing there, and then hearing her say, "Go to the car." I'm saying, I thought, like, wait a minute, there are some conflicting things happening right now, because you're saying that she's texting him. I don't see her on the phone. You're then saying that she told her son to come in there and to eliminate the issue. And I'm like, wait a minute, the son stands there, fumbles with the you know what before pulling it out, and it looks to be he didn't pull it out until he saw that man hit his mother several times. So after all of that, even after this video has come out, even after more details have come out, people like ABL, Anthony Brian Logan, a YouTuber with almost 1 million subscribers, have still been running with this false narrative. And the issue is that it's painting this lady as a bad mother. This lady, who is a single mother, self described, did everything right and is doing everything right when it comes to her son. Her son is a honor roll student. He recently graduated grammar school. He's on his way to high school. He's actually an actor that was in The Shy. The information that they're putting out about her is not only defamatory, but it's also deeply insensitive. This is what I mean by the mental health of Black women does not matter to the overall collective of America. Black women have never been able to be seen as victims. Our feelings have never been weaponized against a group of people, including Black men, to where it has led to change. Here you have a situation that's been filmed, that has been all over social media, all over the world. And yet you still have people running with this false narrative, these lies, and they're doing it for money. ABL is doing it for clicks and views and subscribers, because that leads to more money and more sponsorships. And it's selfish, it's insensitive, and it's actually it shows the level of bias and and evil that it's evil. Why would you do this to this woman? Why would you continue to put out videos that is mislabeling this woman? He called her an ambulance chaser. You have to understand that the reason why they were even arrested so quickly and held on a $3 million bond, most people in the hood can't even come up with a fraction of that. The reason why they were treated that way is because the police ignored evidence. They had a video in possession in which they saw, based on the camera angle, they saw this lady being repeatedly hit it, and they left that out of the reports. They then left out of the reports about the texting part, and they used all of the false information that they got from the witnesses. Let's just be honest, they got false information from the witnesses to condemn her and put them in jail. That lady said, I didn't think I would ever get out or see my son again. On a $3 million bond, that's why they set that so high. I do Black femicide stories all the time, and they don't even get those types of bonds. It's rare for some of the most heinous cases to even get $1 million bond, but a $3 million bond, they literally did not want these people to get out of jail. And if it had not been for that video, which is why she kept breaking down, she understood she would not be free. Her son would not be free. And people are literally saying, well, they should just leave well enough alone. Why would you leave well enough alone when what condemned you to that extent is the reason why you were even in there to begin with. They ignored her statements, they ignored her son's statements. They went off of all of the witness statements and what the police wrote in their reports. That's why she's suing the police department, because they ignored evidence that contradicted the witness statements. And the fact that ABL, and it's really, pissing me off, the fact that he keeps putting these videos out and going to his social media to try to get attention off of this situation is bothersome. Move the blank on. Focus on something else. If you scroll through his social media, this is another man who's within the manosphere who's condemning black women. They can say all of that, save yourself, black man. They can say, no, I'm condemning single mothers. No, I'm condemning the community. That is all a charade. They are basically condemning black women for being black women. They don't condemn fatherless households. No, they condemn single mothers. They don't condemn community violent criminals such as Jeremy Brown. No, we're going to condemn you for being out at that night. We're going to condemn you for having your son out at that night. Never mind the fact that maybe they were hungry. Never mind the fact that they were tax-paying citizens. Never mind the fact that you should be able to go outside of your house and not be bothered or attacked. No, we're not going to condemn the criminals. We're going to condemn the law-abiding citizens. And then we're going to blame you. We're going to market this so that we can get more subscribers who don't like the black community, who are anti-black themselves. And then we're going to sell this narrative that everything was your fault. Not on my watch. The reason why I continue to do these videos, particularly about the Carlishia situation, is because people, specifically black men who are within that manosphere, have gotten so comfortable being able to say whatever they want on social media without it being addressed. You see, black men, they don't get labeled as racist. They don't get labeled as anti-black. But a Pearly Things will, a Nick Fuentes will, a Destiny will. We need to counter that narrative. And having people on YouTube that are not only afraid to hold these people accountable, but go up against them is very much needed. Black men have turned their backs on the black community, and now they're selling our pain for profit. The reason why the black community is so bad, the reason why the black community has so much criminal activity in it, because black women have put their blackness to the side and decided their womanhood to the side and have decided to rally and support black men through whatever, even though all the studies and personal accounts show that you are most impacted by doing this. It is now time for black women, especially considered affirmative action is under attack. They're now talking about the job placement. They're talking about other when it comes to your jobs. They just got rid of schooling. Anywhere that affirmative action helps you, they're looking at taking it away from you. So this was just the first of all of that. So you're under attack by white supremacy, and now you're under attack by black men who have decided to align with white supremacy. I'm not about to deal with both both sides. Personally, I'm gonna be a black woman. Black women, I am black. To be a black woman is to understand that your gender and your race are inextricably linked. And I'm going to proceed and go about my life that way. That means no more yelling to fund the police. That means no more, oh, we need more information before we condemn him. Nope. Black men have shown me they'll condemn me without even hearing my side of the story. I'm going to be an unapologetically black woman, mindful of her history, mindful of the current state of the black community. And I think it's really best that black women figure out a community of other like-minded black people, or maybe a community that doesn't include so much of us, and move to it. You deserve rest. You deserve a place where you can be as vocal and as loving and as caring as you want to without being condemned by the black community. They've basically put us in a position where we have to be masculine. And they don't care how much of an impact that has on us. Therefore, I don't care about how much um pipeline prison to pipeline have the impact that that has on you. Stop telling black women to care about issues that predominantly impact black men, while at the same time telling black women, black men should not be held responsible and it's not their job to save you. If it's not black men's job to save us, it's not our job to save them. I understand in this particular situation, a young boy stepped in to save his mother. I was happy to see that. But is this the norm? Absolutely not. It is actually very unnormal to see a young black man stepping in to defend his mother, sister, whoever it may be. We are living in a community that rallies to hurt and condemn us. We then go into workplaces that are set up the same way. I literally almost had a nervous breakdown when I thought about, well, when do we get to rest? When do we get to express how situations impact us emotionally and physically? You know what? They don't want to see black women ever be in a victim status. Because when you're in a victim status, you have to point out who was the assailant. And black men did not like seeing Jeremy Brown being held accountable. They did not like seeing black men, a black boy stepping in to defend his mother. And they didn't like seeing that because black men don't like to condemn black men. White women don't like to condemn other white women. White men don't like to condemn other white men. That is why they always try to find a loophole as to how it was your fault. As black women, you face the burden of being black and a woman in America. You also have the history of slavery being in America. Therefore, you can't afford to put your womanhood or blackness to the side because you literally have a defined history of when both of those said that you were three-fourths of a human. And now they're trying to take your gender away from you. Now you're about to argue with biracials about how biracials not black. You're now about to have an argument with the you know what community about how you have to be a biological woman in order to qualify for certain things or to even claim you're a woman. You're now arguing over both of the identities that put you in a this position to begin with. I'm not here for it. You mean to tell me that I'm going through almost the exact same thing that my ancestors went through? Please tell me how we haven't regressed. Black women have regressed. And the only time the black women that I know get a little shine is when you're doing something that goes against the other aspect of you. If you go too liberal, you're going to be anti-womanhood because you want to share that gender with everybody. Anybody can be a woman. If you go too far left, you now have to condemn your blackness and engage in anti-black rhetoric. It just never ends for black women. I can no longer do that. It's driving me crazy to see actors, comedians, who whatever job role that they're in, depending on their politics, you have to go either so far left or so far right that you begin to ignore that, hey, I have two identities that have always been frowned upon, berated, and put down amongst other groups. I can no longer do that. And this situation has taught me that black women are damned if you do, damned if you don't. You better start choosing yourself. Otherwise, you may be in a situation like Carlishia Hood, and you may find that black men will be more sensitive to being recorded. You see, it's fine when you do it to the police. It's gonna become a problem when you start doing it more so to them. And they're going to start doing something about it. Because while they can film their antics and they don't have a problem getting on YouTube channels such as DJ Vlad and saying something, no, they're going to control how you showcase them. and they're going to exercise their masculinity over you. No matter what you say about this case, it revealed a lot about the Black community. One, they don't want you condemning Black men at, at, at no cost. No, whatever the cost is, you cannot condemn them. And if you do, they will find a loophole as to it's your fault. Shouldn't have been out that night. She shouldn't have been hungry. Her son shouldn't have been out that night. They don't care that this man attacked her, and nothing beyond that should be any reason to defend him. You are under attack. You are being preyed upon. Every woman, Black woman, should be looking at getting her conceal and carry license. Every Black woman should be figuring out how to create multiple streams of income. I would find like-minded Black women who want to build a community and create a community where now you can go up against the laws and protections that are now being taken down, that are no longer going to protect us. Because you cannot be, I can't, as a Black woman, I sat here today and said, I can't be going up against white supremacy and Black degeneracy and the Black women who that's too much. I ain't got that much time. Who wants to devote their entire life to always fighting? When do you get to love on your community? When do you get to actually fellowship? And the Black community really doesn't do that. The only time I see the Black community come out to um, be there for each other is when a white man has been convicted of wrongfully shooting a Black man. Otherwise, the Black community don't celebrate our wins. We don't celebrate our people graduating, our people going off into fields that were predominantly white. We don't fellowship, and we don't do that because the Black community is exploited. You have Black men who are not interested in furthering Black relationships. That's why they get in interracial marriages and have mixed race kids, but then they want to come back to the community and try to change the color and dynamics of the community, which is now impacting the community as well. We don't fellowship. And honestly, there isn't love within the Black community, because if there was, we wouldn't have so much violence. We wouldn't be dead set against each other. We would want to rally for one another when we saw something that was happening. The reason why the Black community was more successful in the after slavery ended is because you had more Black people wanting to work as a team. They understood you needed to have resources. They understood that you needed to fellowship. They understood that you needed to love each other. Was everybody on the same page? No, but they understood the dynamics of teamwork. And ultimately, that is how white people have been prevailing. White supremacy could not function without teamwork. And they do it well because they not only have teamwork, they have the resources, and now they have allied themselves with Asian people. And with all that said, Black people are going to continue to fall backwards, especially Black women, because we're trying to uphold a community that has a group of men who don't want the same things that we do. In fact, they don't even like us. I had to when I look at these videos on YouTube, I'm like, this is what you say about an enemy. They don't like you. They don't love you. They don't take up for you. They don't defend you. They rally amongst each other to condemn you. What are you trying to save? Let the community burn down. Save the people who can be saved, your friends, your family members, and then walk away. There ain't nothing to save. The Black community is being exploited. Black men make sure that if they're exploited, that you are heavily exploited. And then they take advantage of the situation. And then they bring in another group of women, have children with those women, and say that they're Black like you. When is the Black woman finally going to throw up her hands and say, I give up? You not giving in, you giving up. Giving in is following along with what they say. Giving up meaning everybody fight for themselves. I'm only here for me. Even as a black woman, if I decide to no longer do YouTube, to no longer try to help people, to no longer be an advocate, and I go on, create multiple streams of income and build my own community, I still helped my community. But I understood that you can't go into places like Detroit, Michigan, Chicago, Illinois, Houston, anywhere where there's a predominant number of black people is a predominant number of crime. Black femicide is high in every area that has a lot of black people. We have to stop ignoring this, especially as black women who give birth to these kids, and be okay with the police locking a lot of these people up, black men and black women included, so that we can achieve the desired neighborhoods that are needed to foster good, productive environments. And until black people, specifically black women, come to that conclusion, have that mindset, our communities are going to continue to be unsafe. The communities are not set up for women and children. They're set up for criminal activity. That's why criminals do so well in these spaces. And saying that you don't want the police in these areas, saying that you don't you're anti-police, saying that you want them to fund it, is going to have a negative impact as it already has on the community. There is no way around that. As women, as women with children. And we know that a lot of the black women, sadly, in our neighborhoods are single mothers. You have to think, in this neighborhood, do I want criminals roaming and walking around? Because a criminal only has a few things on their mind: getting resources, taking those resources away from you, and by all at all costs. There was just this story posted the other day of a man who had just gotten out of jail, who walked up to an older lady as she was gardening, put his arm around her and dragged her in the house and robbed her. He had not even been out the jail for a week. Had just did a couple years. Why would you want that in your community? You have to be more pro police than anybody else, because this is where criminals of all colors come to rest and prey upon other members. Not to mention, we also have a huge S trafficking issue in our community. And guess what? It's not just black men, it's not just white men, it's also these immigrants that come over and they have the same mindset. Not all of them, but some. We have to be mindful that we are as much women as we are men. And sadly, black women always make decisions that are best for black men and not black women. And so, with all that said, I think ABL deserves a lawsuit for defamation of character, because at this point a video has contradicted what the information he put out. He's on Twitter tweeting about it. He has also did 2 follow-up videos in which he's still running with this narrative that the son was the Terminator and she told him to do that. If you notice, all white media has either taken the videos down or changed the titles. And why have they done that? Because when you've gone to school and you've done the research and work, you understand that defamation of character people can pursue that if you lie about them and you take no steps to correct those lies. But not ABL, because he thinks he can't be held accountable. And I'm part of the black women that want to show black men y'all can be held accountable. You not exempt. I'm gonna read a few of y'all comments. I want to thank y'all for coming here to be with me tonight. I know it's late. I'm gonna read some of y'all comments and then I'm gonna, let y'all go because I understand it's late. With white supremacy, you get what you want from them and then you go about your you're, as far as black man is concerned. If they're not, the man in your family or your husband, then don't deal with them. Okay, ABO seems to be an opportunist that needs to be sued. The fact that he has not changed his viewpoint in light of the new video and evidence is very telling. Absolutely. Understand, the first video got like 85,000 views. The last two videos have failed to reach 45,000. So I think that says a lot more about the people who stopped looking at his videos after they saw that, well, new information contradicts this. So why would we continue to listen to you? For the most part, most black women are still holding on to their love for black men. Black men are the ones who tapped out and are selling us out. They hate black women, but black women still hold on to these bumps. Yeah, I don't understand, as a black woman who's on YouTube, even though this is not the collective of black men, look at their audience. How many black men do you know that are quoting them? A lot of black men are sitting on social media, and I'm in some of their groups. There is a lot of Kevin Samuel groups on Facebook in which you have a ton of black men. And a lot of these black men are like 20, 30, 40 plus, speaking negative about black women, saying that we're the issue for all of them. When you say something like what Anton Daniel said, which is, we've been worse than white supremacy, we're worse than anything that the white man has done, I no longer respect you. I actually see you as a predator, an enemy. If you tell me that the people that enslaved your ancestors and have constructed laws so that you cannot benefit from the resources and opportunities as they do, that black women are worse, when black women have been at times on the front line of defending and supporting blackness more so than black men, I walk away from you quietly. But I get loud when I see that you're using this as a way to get another stream of income. Selling out black women, speaking negatively about us, disparaging us, has become another stream of income for black men. Black people were forced to be with each other back in the day because of the racism and the violence that happened in the day. Yeah, this is why I go back and forth with miscegenation laws. I actually think that there were a lot of people, black people, particularly black men, who did not care for the black community. Instead, they wanted to be in interracial unions with mixed race children so that they could use that those relationships to further their um, involvement into being in spaces that have been traditionally for not for black people. And they did so at the cost of our community, our culture, everything. Even when you look at it today, how many black men want to go and be in spaces with white women, knowing that the white woman doesn't even like them because they're black, but they'll still try to get them. Now, you went and got with that woman, you have kids with her, and now that woman is exploiting our culture and saying that she can't be racist because she got mixed race kids. How many of us know couples like that? And it's like, you should not have had kids with her or laid down with her if you did not want the responsibility of her having those kids and her raising them to be anti-black. Because now you got mixed kids sitting on social media saying that my daddy and mama hated their blackness. Okay, well, why is that the responsibility of black women? Because we know that they seek out black women to affirm their blackness. I'm not a mammy. That's not my job. That should have came from your parents. And if it's not coming from your parents, then we should not be pro interracial marriage. We should not be pro creating mixed race kids because you're having a detriment. You're causing friction. You're causing conflict. And that's one of my biggest problems with the community is that they create conflict for black women. I'm tired of the conflict. It has to come to a resolution. And the resolution is, if you're in an interracial marriage, an interracial union, you should create the culture for the mixed race people. And they're not doing that. What they're doing is allowing them to co-opt black identity, and that needs to stop. Black guys have always been this way. Even during slavery, they returned their black women who fought. They returned in black women who fought against the system. Yeah. Then um Harriet Tubman get turned in by a black man. With ABL, he's also enticing violence against women and her son. Yeah, yeah, he is. He's motivating people to try to seek out. He's 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 to me. It seems as though he's going against what he said he's not doing. It's like he's trying to encourage those people to retaliate against her. Kanye and Kim for one, but everyday couples too. Yeah, I'm sick of it. Right? I asked people, did they care about the affirmative action being terminated? And a lot of y'all said no, so I didn't go live on that. However, I think we should care because when we look at the data and the statistics, black people who had a lineage, who are a descendant of a slave, we weren't even getting, for the most part, it was only like 5% of us in there. Most of those black people were West Indies, Nigerians, who who benefited off of the off of our plight and off of the resources that we created, which that was one of them. And it's like, well, that wasn't serving us anyway. And so one of the questions that came up in one of those when they were evaluating the case is, how long can a person claim to be black if they've mixed out? And they couldn't answer that. They said we weren't concerned about that as much. We rely on self identity. So now we got the issue of, how do we protect our identity if people are co opting this? And we've already come out as a community to say not to do that. All I see is that when black people became more um, invested into diversity and inclusion, our culture, our identity, it began to get co-opted. And now that black people are mixing out, they don't just want to claim that they're mixed, they want to claim our identity. So we actually inherited more problems by mixing into the society than we did when we were not in society. I think that black people need to look at this diversity and inclusion and look at an alternative to it. For me, I know when I set up my community for my children, I'm not about that. If if they want to be in schools that are diverse, it's not forced. But I don't think that children should be pushed into situations where indoctrination and miseducation is high. And ultimately, that's what we did to our black children. Black kids were way smarter when they were at home learning from their parents back in the day than they were when we got integrated. And a lot of the issues we have now, we didn't have back in the day. And I think that really is the issue of for us. How do we, as a society, as a group of people who are dependent on the majority, which is white people, how do we get what we need while at the same time giving our kids what they need? As an adult, I can do a battle with a white person. I know what to say, I know what to do, I know how to go about my life. But do I want that from my child? No. So you actually, as a black family or as somebody who hasn't dated out, you actually want to create an environment where your child can grow up in a loving, safe environment where their identity isn't constantly being questioned until they're able to maneuver in communities where it's not okay. Well, it's safe for them to be in, but their identity is constantly being questioned. And this is what I see from black families now. Our kids are not set up to go into communities because we have a lot of kids that are committing, you know what, in which they have to defend their race against racist kids. And the black community has not done a good job of creating an environment where kids are safe at home. And I know for one, I don't know how or how long it's going to take me, but there will be a community that's set up to create that's a safe space for black kids to show up as their authentic, unapologetical self. But going back to the situation at hand, does ABL need a lawsuit? Absolutely. Because you cannot continue to defame somebody's character and go unpunished. Don't forget the Indians and PLC that also benefit from. Yeah, here's the thing, everybody has benefited from your fight, but not everybody is used as the scapegoat in the fight. So they only brought up black people. They didn't bring up Indians and like they compared to black people, compared to black people. Remember, they never said compared to Latinos as much. I didn't hear no compared to Native Americans at all. All I kept hearing was compared to black people. Is black people the only people of color in America? Because I swore the last time that I spoke out about something about black people, I was told that it's not always about black people. You know, it's always about black people when y'all trying to push another narrative. Don't for let me see. This is the effects of ending segregation. Create your own community. When they are little, you have to instill these values. Yeah, I agree. And you can't do that in a community that's multi cultural, that's mixed, right? Because they come in with their own set of ideas. People are saying, well, mixed kids are black. Here's the thing. Why would you, as somebody that has a white mother, or I know that a child is black and white, right? Why would you feel comfortable having a mixed race kid in a classroom where people are going to say, here's my experience with white people? Now that mixed kid is going to be like, well, I'm half mixed. Does that make me this way? Now you have to bend your curriculum to suit that child's mental capacity to take into fact that, yeah, I am half mixed. When you can't give the information that's needed to your kids. That's the problem that white people have. They're like, wait a minute, you're not about to indoctrinate my kids with what white people did and how we continue to further those policies and mindsets in our in work in education system. You're not about to do that. You're not about to tell my kids that, right? They fight against you really hard. This is why you can't get CRT in the schools. And now, but it's okay for you to put your child into their schools where they can indoctrinate your kid that you shouldn't have a love for blackness. You shouldn't speak out against when anything racially happens to you. If you really look at it, being integrated into white society has done more harm than good. And as a grown up, it's okay for me to be more integrated into society. I can get a gun, right? I can defend myself in the courtroom. I know how to maneuver amongst these people. Your child doesn't. Your child doesn't have that type of mindset to maneuver around people who seek to harm them. Therefore, you need to have a community that's set up for your child. And that's what I want my community to be about. The community needs to be set up for women and children. That's the way white men set up their community, for women and children, because they understand, look, I'm a man, I can maneuver however I want to, but my women and children got to be safe. They got to be in a place that's going to complement their lifestyles. That's why in high end areas, you'll see where they're giving out fruit instead of candy. You'll see they have a lot of parks, a lot of trails to make sure that you stay healthy. White people set up the community for women and children. Black women have set up the community for black men and black boys. We can no longer do that. We got to get out of this mindset that helping black men to the extent that it crushes us is the way to go about the community. Let's see. Yes, mixed is mixed, black is black, white is white. I'm also stuck on black identity being tethered to degenerate behavior. Mixed kids are mixed. Absolutely. Um, I'm really at this point looking forward to getting an organization set up that's going to do battle with identity politics. The plan here is to say that a lot of the stuff should be lineage based. If we're talking about doing something specifically for blacks, if you can't connect a parent, not an aunt, not an uncle, but a parent back to slavery, then you are not you should not be included in our identity. A lot of the things that were set up for black people need to change the wording and the definition and say that this is lineage based. I also believe that you should be able to pursue racial fraud against the racial dolozols and all of those people who say that they're black. I also believe that we need to take on the mindset that mixed is not black. Stop putting us in the same category. I also understand that black isn't just American black. You have Ethiopian black, you have Somalian black, you have Nigerian black, you have Ghanaian black. But guess what? We're in America. And while I respect that you are an immigrant, you worked hard to get in this country, you worked hard for what you got, you also need to respect that we worked hard, our ancestors worked hard to give us what they could give us. And we cannot just have a lot of y'all coming over and taking advantage of these benefits, mean these resources. They're resources for us, benefits for you, and then you wanting to ally yourself with white people, aka white supremacy, and speak down upon us. I can no longer ignore that. When I started this channel, black is black, mixed is mixed, I was making no distinguishment. However, looking at these TikToks, looking at these YouTube videos, it's clear that there is an anti-black sentiment amongst non African Americans who are descendants of slaves. And with that said, you have to go into protection mode. I'm not anti you moving here. I think that everybody should go through a certain level of vetting before you're let into the country. You also need to understand that, Nigerian American, African American, we're not the same. Anything, any resource that was created for me, and because I'm a descendant of a slave, is not open to you. I think we need to be more respectful of each other. We need to have more value for walking away from conflict. We need to have a better camaraderie with each other and understand that when we don't agree, we don't have to be in conflict. You go do you, I go do me. Unfortunately, people have tried to bully and co-opt our identity, exploit our resources, and it's reached the boiling point because I can no longer tolerate it. So becoming more vocal is something else I want to do. But I think black women need to get in the position of where we say, I don't want to just center my blackness. I don't just want to center being a woman. I want to center being a black woman and what that means. Let me read. They never called themselves black until there was money advancements attached to it. Yep. Don't apologize because they are united against us. The reason why I make those disclaimers is because I know Africans who maneuver to this country or were our first generation who are respectful, who understands the problem. But at the same time, you have to be you have to understand when someone has chosen to be an enemy versus an ally. And that's what I came to see. Like at one point I was following Tariq Nasheed. Sometimes when I'm doing stuff in a video, if I have my video, my YouTube open, it'll switch to his live and I'll end up listening to it. I can't just say that, I dislike this man because he lies about, you know, blackness, and that it's been shown that he has a disdain for black women and that he at one point was a PIMP, right? I don't like that about him. I will never follow him. That's why whatever he creates for black people, I won't be invested in it. But when he posts videos of my immigrant blacks saying that they dislike us, I can't rule that out against him when he say tethers. I can't go. They are tethers. Why you coming to America if you hate black people so much? Why you wear your hair like us? Why you dress like us? If I need to know why you hate me so much, but you trying to be like me, sis. You using my rhetoric, right? You listening to our music. I want the old days of where when you didn't like somebody, you didn't want to hear their name, you didn't go around them, you didn't contribute, you didn't support, right? Dislike me enough to the extent where when somebody say my name, who? And I'm coming to see that people hate to see us profit from our culture. They don't like black people, but they do like blackness. They do like the culture. That's the the hijack, the immigrant hijack. the immigrant hijack. I don't like you. I don't like you. That's like Burna Boy was saying that we don't know who we are, we don't know where we come from. But you over in America doing samples of black women in their music. Brandy sitting on top of the world. Tony Braxton. What song of hers did he do? Right? Why are you so invested in black culture and you don't even like black people? Drake, to me, where you get sick of the mention of my name. Dislike me to the point where dislike me to the point where you don't even like to see my face, hear my voice. You don't want to know nothing about me. That's how I like my enemies. Like you invested in never seeing me again. And that's great because that's where I am. When I don't like you, I don't speak your name because I don't want you to suddenly appear like, dang, I shouldn't have thought about you. Dang, I shouldn't have said your name. Dislike me to the point where you don't come around me. This situation with Carlishia Hood, I hope that her and her son get the therapy that they need. I hope that they're able to bounce back from the situation. I hope that they get out of the environments that they're in because I do believe that because street culture dictates that this individual should not be allowed to progress or live in life, that they need to move. I hope that their life is even better than it was before. I hope that they're able to successfully sue the city. And I hope that they consider looking at YouTubers such as ABL who've made quite a lot of money, right? Because that video is 14 minutes long and does have ads in it, so he is making money off of the replays. I hope that they look into suing YouTubers who continue to run with the lie. But when it comes to black women in general, I hope we see this as an example of you shouldn't be yelling defund the police. We need to do a better job of understanding that I know that I'm not just a black person, I'm also a woman, which means I'm also susceptible to criminal activity, more so than black men. There was just a video on social media of two strippers getting robbed by two black men. Why do you think they picked them? They were vulnerable. They knew that they were strippers and they knew that they were bringing that money back to the household. I pray the community comes together to surround them in protection. You know what? I think our prayers need to change. I'm more so let the community burn down and let people maneuver to their own communities. Let the people who want to date interracially and create mixed race children and don't want to be in the community, let them go start their own community. You really want those people out of your community. Like goodbye, bye. Yep, I know we bad over here. Bye, bye, bye. Oh, you want to be a criminal? You want to have a criminal neighborhood? All right, government. How about we could declare we get these people out of that environment, right? The people like Carlishia Hood and her son out of those environments. We declare those environments out of as war zones, and so in those war zones, if somebody is found to commit murder or tried to commit murder, you get life. And then after so many years, you're going to see less and less and less and less people in those communities to where businesses will be able to come back and they'll come back and they'll flourish. And then all the criminals, they'll be gone. And then the good people will have maneuvered off into the communities that they want to be in. And then blackness will be better. But at this point, because you got so many people in the black community that are on different pages, we got different desires, right? If I desire to marry a non-black woman and I hate the black community and I want to create mixed kids, you shouldn't be thinking about starting a community with me. I'm not a community minded individual when it comes to blackness. I don't like blackness. You need to go on about your business and let me do me. Okay, I understand. We need to get together, figure out as a community, black women, whether or not we want to be on the same page, and then, let the crumbs fall where they may. At the end of the day, we should be maneuvering as one, and then let the black man maneuver as themselves. The people who get married and are able to create descendants who are black, congratulations. But we know for a lot of us, that's not going to be the case. And I just hope that when we do decide to create mixed race children, we understand that mixed is mixed. Their history is different than ours. And we should really be trying to get everybody on the same page when it comes to you divested from the community. Make sure you divest from blackness to the same extent. If I have a mixed race child, that child is going to be mixed. I'm going to correct them when they try to over identify. I'm going to correct them when they try to say that they are just as black, when they try to say that this is their culture, when they try to, no, honey, you're mixed, right? There are things you just shouldn't be saying. And until we're willing to accept that everybody's not on the same page and that some of us are going to have to create communities outside of blackness, I think we're going to continue to see conflict. And I'm tired of the conflict. I don't want no more conflict. To me, if you want to go outside of the community like ABL, who said, I wouldn't even be in the community. A lot of them say that. I wouldn't be in the community. I wouldn't be around it. I wouldn't. Black men have shown that they wouldn't be where they are or where they were if it weren't for black women. So I don't want to be your excuse. I want you as far as away from the community as you want to get away from the community. But could you also keep your input away from the community? The community can go to hell, throw the babies out with the bathwater. I was told I was a bitter woman because I said this. Oh my God, girl. That's what Anton Daniel said. He said throw the black women and the babies out with the bathwater. And I said that was genocide. And people were like, that's not genocide. Ma'am, if they throwing us out and they plan to get a whole nother group of women, where did we go? How did we just stop existing? Sounds like we got thrown out to the wolves, right? In order for us to no longer exist. Look, I want to thank everybody who came and spoke. Paige Turner, Nunya Matters. Thank everybody for tuning in. It's going on an hour and 40 minutes. I read the last comment. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. It was a good night. And y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night and the rest of your morning. Good night, Chad. I can't rock with y'all anymore. My eyelids are heavy. I can barely type the sentence. I love the chat. This chat. Thank you. I like the fact that I still was able to get a few people to tune in. I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all have a good night. And as always, be safe and put yourself first, ladies. Have a good night.